They not like us. Dun, dun, dun. They not like us. They not like us. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm recording. I'm gonna keep that in there. I'm gonna keep that in there.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys, what it do? What's good? All right, let's take a look at this, okay? Gilbert is coming with the heat. He has been coming with the heat oh, that's probably bad. Oh, that's bad phrasing, especially with things that happened in his career. I probably shouldn't have said that. But, hey, he's coming with some good takes, all right? That's all I got to say. All right, so he has some more to say about Victor Wembanyama, and he always has something positive to say about Victor Wembanyama. I think the only time in which he didn't was like Wemby took a stray for no reason. He says something in the lines of like, Victor Wembanyama's really skinny. Won't you just push him out of the way? And that was before the season even started. But since then, he's been great, okay? Bad take on most things. Good take when it comes to the Spurs lately. I am all the way for it. He always seems reasonable on this show, okay? And I do like his take. They come across pretty well informed at times, at times. So we're going to take a look at what he has to say. Obviously not going through this whole video. I just want his take on Wemby, and maybe we'll skip ahead a little bit. I don't know, and see what's going on there. But before we take a look at that, big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. As I say all the time, guys, just use the link in my description if you want to try out. Oh, I cannot speak. Try out BetUS. Link in my description. You support the sponsors, you support the channel. But all you have to do is you click that link, man. And if you're curious about day of fantasy, here we go. There we go. Last minute bets. There we go. So you can go down here and you can do New York Knicks and Pacers. Honestly, I'm gonna be a hundred done. I'm picking the Knicks. Okay, I think that's an easy one. I'm picking the Knicks. They are mollywhopping the Pacers. So if you want to go ahead and put 100 on that, put 100, you win 225. I have no doubt in my mind that they could beat the Pacers. I don't know. That's just my feeling. That's just how I'm vibing right now. Pacers defense is just too doggone. Oh my goodness, it was just god awful. So that might be a good one if you guys want to try that out. Link in the description. Go check that out. All right, check it out. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at what our boy has to say. And he is our boy.
So
okay?
Rudy Gobert
Oh my goodness, calm down. Can we calm down? There we go.
Game 2 of the Wolves-Nuggets series on Monday, but made some history Tuesday, winning his record-tying 4th Defensive Player of the Year award. Gobert received 72 first-place votes.
What? Why did Victor only get 9? Do you guys realize how ridiculous this is? Why did he only... Do you understand how ridiculous this is? Like, seriously. Especially when you look at the stats.
Wemby came in second, Bam Adebayo finished third, and AD got 4th. So Gobert joins Dikembe Mutombo and Ben Wallace as the only 4-time winners since the award's inception in 1983. So Gobert anchored the Wolves' top-ranked defense and had the best individual defensive rating this season. So what are your thoughts on Gobert winning his 4th Defensive Player of the Year award this season?
Hey, I'm just happy he ain't missed that. He ain't missed that. He was in the house chilling on that award doing interviews and everything from the crib. I thought he was going to do it from the hospital.
You're still getting this going.
I was just wondering, like, I mean.
Now we can't go to.
What are you doing?
That's
how you get a kid. You know what I'm saying?
That man. So
Looking at the numbers.
Our man Justin Fan over at Underdog NBA did a head-to-head breakdown of Gobert versus Wemby this season, and the numbers do tell an interesting story, as Kenya suggests. So let's look at Rudy. The Wolves defense.
All right, here we go. So defensive rating, the lower the better. So he does have a better defensive rating. Defensive rating when he's off the court, however, is 107. So there's barely a 0.7 difference versus Wemby's 6.1 difference. That's insane, dude. That's insane. Let's see, 2.2 EPM. Yeah, blocks 2.1. Wemby's averaging as many steals as a freaking guard, man. 3.6 blocks per game, 1.2 steals per game. This doesn't make sense to me. This is too big of a gap for you to just go with Rudy. If it was closer, I'm cool with it. And it's like, okay, you know, the tiebreaker is who's winning the most games. But this is ridiculous.
That's a rating when Rudy was on the floor, 106.6. When he was off, 107.3, so a minus 0.7 difference. He had a plus 2.2 defensive estimated plus minus, averaged 2.1 blocks, 0.7 steals per game, got 72 first place votes. So with Wemby, Spurs defensive rating when Wemby was on was 111.2. When he was off the floor, it was 117.3.
Ridiculous, dog.
Minus 6.1 difference. Wemby had a higher estimated plus minus, more blocks, more steals, and only got 19 first place votes.
19.
Hey, my question is this.
What are you thinking?
Rudy not play game 2. We've seen what their defense look like, right?
Yeah. Better than we've seen it.
Right? It's like it's a great.
Oh my God!
It's not, what I'm saying is, did they miss a step defensively? Right? You have to take into consideration.
Yeah, don't stay. We can't start saying like, oh, if he's off the court, they're a better defensive team. That's not true. But they can manage, right? It might have just been one of those things where they had to overly compensate for him not being on the court. Therefore, they looked better. But I don't think I'm not a believer of like, oh, like the best defensive player or even the best offensive player, in their team successful when they're off the court. Therefore, they're the problem or they're better without them. That's not true. That's not true. Maybe for a short period of time. They are definitely a better defensive team if he's out there. But it's minimal. It is minimal.
The team doesn't lose a step defense.
Okay, so that was always my argument. How can you say he's this impactful defensively if you remove him? They are still great, right? Because there's other players that do their job too. So if you want to say,
like I just feel like Victor Wembanyama is an anomaly, right? My stuff froze for a minute. Victor Wembanyama is an anomaly. That's the thing. That's the thing with Victor right now. I just feel like he's an anomaly. Like, I think people can have an argument when it came to Kawhi or Draymond that year, right? Like, people were like, oh, who should win it? Should it be Draymond? Should it be Kawhi? You can have a discussion there. That's totally fine. Both of which are good defensive teams, competent defensive teams. If Kawhi wasn't playing, our team is still good defensively. That's fine. You can do that. You can compare those two. But this is not a comparison when Victor Wembanyama is so much better than basically everybody defensively. I don't see how it's even like why winning is coming into play here. Why is that the deciding factor of defensive player of the year?
He instilled this type of defense into them to make them want to play more defense. Okay, but as the better defensive player
he's true. That's true. It's like so abstract.
Individually, the numbers don't lie. The impact doesn't lie, right? You have multiple defensive players on the team doing their job too, so it's kind of hard to really gauge it. I don't know.
I disagree because you can't minimize what Rudy does based on the fact that his teammates do their job.
You're minimizing what Wemby does by giving it to Rudy. Like, no one's saying Rudy's the second best. like that's it. Like, this, it's right there. The stats are right there. You're punishing Wemby. You're not punishing Rudy. You're punishing Wemby, who was this season a better defensive player. You're punishing him for not having the team. No one's punishing Rudy for having good teammates. That's preposterous. That's ridiculous.
Yes, you can.
Very well.
Yes, you can.
His teammates do their job to the point where when he's not on the floor, they don't miss a beat because we do our job so well to the point where our numbers don't fluctuate when you're not on the floor.
If you didn't have an anomaly in the discussion, I would agree with him. Like, okay, whatever. Like, their stats are very close. This is not close. I'm sorry. I don't think this is close.
If he's not on that team, his production and his defensive numbers will go up.
If you want to even ignore here, you see we're 456. Even if you want to ignore, like, let's just say you want to ignore the defensive rating on and off the court, whatever, fine. If you feel like that's punishing Rudy, I feel like you're still punishing Wemby, but whatever. Let's say you're punishing Rudy. Just the raw stats here. It's just, if you want to keep it simple, blocks per game, steals per game. It's not close. 1.6 difference in blocks is huge. That is a huge difference. That's not a minimum. This isn't 2.1 versus 2.5. This is 2.1 versus 3.6 0.7 steals versus 1.2 steals per game. This is a huge difference. Huge difference.
I disagree.
Gauge it. I don't.
They do their job.
you can.
We don't miss a beat because we do our job so well to the point where our numbers don't fluctuate when you're not on the floor. If he's not on that team, his production and his defensive numbers will go up. That's the difference. That's why
He ain't never averaged them numbers.
You don't have to.
On the other team,
You don't have to.
he ain't never averaged
He's
them
a
numbers.
three-time defensive player.
He ain't averaged the other
time.
three.
This is 4 now.
This is 4. The other 3, he ain't averaged them numbers.
And Wallace probably never averaged them numbers. He got 4
Right.
times.
What are we talking about? What are you talking about, McCann?
Mutombo probably never averaged those numbers. He got 4
Okay.
times. Is it about the numbers or is it about what you do for you?
When you got somebody else that's comparing that people are saying that you shouldn't have won the award
You'll
to.
get it next
So
year.
go look at somebody. Go look at the other defensive players when Ben Wallace won.
Just ask him a simple question. Just ask him, why does Rudy Gobert deserve it over Wemby? That's a simple question. Why? By what metric does he deserve it over Wemby? Is it literally because he has a better team? Because that's the only thing you're saying right now. Is because he has a better overall team. By what metric does he deserve it over Wemby? Please.
Look at their numbers. Look at the other, and then you can compare them, right? We comparing in real time, and they just put the shit up on the screen.
Like I said, the
Men lie, men lie, women lie.
the team is that good.
Okay, so
numbers don't.
let's take the team like the Bulls, right? 96 Bulls. And then would you have had a problem if someone like Lou, what the fuck is his name? Big dude.
Luke Longley.
Luke Longley got Defensive Player of the Year. Would you have said, how the fuck are you supposed to win? You got Michael Jordan, you got Dennis Rodman, you got Scottie Pippen, and you have Ron Harper, that all are lockdown defenders. How are you getting rewarded for something they do great too?
Are you comparing Luke Longley to Rudy Gobert, bro?
I'm comparing a team full of monsters on the defensive end and a dude getting credited.
I don't think this is fair. I do think you can win Defensive Player of the Year even if you have great defenders around you, right? And I do think Rudy Gobert is the anchor of his team. Like, I think this narrative is kind of taken away from him a little bit. The only way where I could agree, or I just think this is just different. Like, if you have him versus, if it's this big of a jump that we see with Rudy Gobert and Wemby, then I completely understand it, where you're like, well, you know, you're punishing this guy who's a much better defender, who's having better numbers, having a better year. Team is better defensively when he's on the court versus this other guy who his team is just better defense. That's fine. I think that it'll be a little bit better if you were comparing, if the San Antonio Spurs were, well, no, that doesn't even count. I just feel like if you're comparing him with another team that's winning, then it's fine if it comes down to that. Like I said, I feel like with the Kawhi versus Draymond thing that year, that was totally cool. I mean, Kawhi ended up getting it, but if they wanted to give it to Draymond, I wouldn't have been upset. But you don't have this big of a gap. Sorry, I was really rambling there. I got upset.
Like, he has the
You're
impact.
using the worst defender to prove your scenario. Luke Longley's not known as a defensive player who's won Defensive Player of the Year 3 times. So you have to put a defensive player like Rodman in that position.
Rodman's already defense. Okay,
if
so
you
let's put Ben
Rodman
Wallace
in there.
Let's put Ben Wallace.
Whoever you put there has to be known as a defensive player around other good defensive players. So then you would say, does he deserve it? You'd be like, hey, he's known for this, so yeah. He's on a defensive team, though. The other guys play good defense as well.
So let's take
Good God, this is a lot of team talk.
Ben Wallace. So you said let's take Ben Wallace, right? You take Ben Wallace off of the Detroit Pistons team, they get cooked night in.
Oh my Lord, that's a lie.
Okay,
I played against them, nigga.
I did too.
No,
I did too.
We.
In 2006, 7, and 8, 2005. What do you mean? I played against them too. I was actually with them in 2004. I witnessed their whole team. I used to watch the team practices. They were an
This nigga
excellent
finna tell me about
defensive team.
somebody who
Ben Wallace was an absolute monster. I wonder, do they have that? I'm gonna look it up, Evan.
I went head up against day in, day out. in the playoffs, swept them in the playoffs, lost them. So you're going to sit up and you know better than I
just
do.
said you played
You know
against
better
him.
than I
I
do.
just said I played against him, too.
You know better than I do.
No.
You know better than I do.
No, I don't.
I played against him at my peak.
I played
when
against
I'm an
him too,
all-star.
though, okay?
When I'm an all-star.
That's not what we're talking
yes,
about.
We are.
We're not talking about
We're bringing Ben
accolades.
Wallace into the
We're not-
conversation, right?
But you're talking about
bringing
something
Ben Wallace.
different.
No,
You're
we're
talking
bringing
about
Ben Wallace
yourself.
into the
We're not talking about
conversation.
you, though.
We're bringing Ben Wallace
not
into the
talking about
conversation.
you, though.
We're bringing listen for a second. We're bringing Ben Wallace into the
It's hard to
conversation.
find it.
If you take him off of the 02, 03, 04 Pistons team, the 04 Pistons team without Ben Wallace, they don't have a championship.
So you saying they trash?
The rest of the guys defensively
Say it.
relied on him.
He-
Chauncey wasn't a great defender.
Ben Wallace was the man. Like,
He tried. Rip wasn't a great defender. He tried. Tayshaun Prince was okay
Wow.
Tayshaun Prince was
played
a pretty good defender. I mean, I think he was a pretty good defender.
against them.
So you saying they would be trash without Ben Wallace?
They wouldn't have won championship. They wouldn't have been competitive
Jeez, man, oh my gosh, it's too much team talk.
the way they were. No, not at all.
So he deserved all of his defensive player of the years.
The rest of the guys weren't as good like this guy, like these guys on his team.
He deserved his defensive player
because
of the
he
year.
anchored their defense. Yes.
Yes. Is the
Rudy is
right?
not anchoring their defense.
Who is what? Guard.
I would say he's the anchor.
The guards are.
The who?
Come on, man.
Y'all tripping right now.
I mean, they do have phenomenal defenders around him. I would say he holds it down in the paint. I would say he's that. Usually when I think anchor in the paint, but I get what they're saying. I get what he's saying.
So what happened? What are y'all talking about? The guards are anchoring the defense?
What the fuck did they do to Murray?
Are y'all serious?
What did they do to Murray?
Oh my God.
What did they do to Murray? They showed
Yeah, Rudy Gobert didn't guard Murray.
you. They showed you
If
what
you don't like Rudy.
All right. This is enough talk. Let's see. I don't want to just steal their whole thing. Let's see what else. Anything else?
Where was he? He wasn't there game 2. Did the guards have trouble keeping?
Right, so without the last motherfucker to do their job,
He earned it.
he
earned his. Like
Rudy didn't.
before they shut them both down without the best defense.
They talk about this a lot.
And Rudy and interchange.
And then you can take
All right, here we
Rudy.
go. Hold on.
The team is so good at defense that you can pull anybody out and make him Rudy.
No, I didn't say anybody. I said you
Wemby.
can take Wemby and Rudy and interchange.
And then you can take Rudy and put him over in Spurs, but he can't be Wemby.
Why can't he be Wemby? Because he don't score.
Is he? Is McCanto? Is he okay? Like, seriously, he doesn't understand that. Like, that's obvious. That's like blatantly. You could take Wemby and it's in the stats. You could take Wemby and put him over there, and yes, he will be able to get the same amount of blocks as he's getting right now, or at least the same amount of blocks that Rudy Gobert is getting, and play just as well defensively. You don't have to think about offense. But then you take Rudy and bring him over to the San Antonio Spurs defensively. He does not, like, I haven't seen a lot of players like actively avoid him the way that Wemby forces people to actively avoid him. I don't know if we're going to be getting like 10 block games with Rudy Gobert on this squad. That's ridiculous.
Score?
Because he ain't never averaged them numbers.
He can still get
When he was in Utah,
He can still get them numbers. He can get those numbers. He just don't feel like it.
when he was in Utah and his team didn't play
He can get
defense,
those numbers.
he can do that.
He never
He won
had.
the Defensive Player of the Year award 3 different
And he's
times.
never had those
He
numbers.
doesn't
He
have
never had those numbers. Oh, but he doesn't have to have those numbers.
to. Obviously, if he won the award 3 different times without those numbers,
there was
he doesn't
nobody-
have to.
Okay, well, you know, if you do better than the guy who won it 3 times in a row, then maybe you should deserve it over him, no?
That's doing it.
You proved it right when you just said the team is a great defensive team. Great, we know that.
Yeah.
So his job is not as he don't have to do the job like everybody
I've
else.
already said that.
So we asked the
That's
chat.
that you proved the point.
I've already
I
said that
appreciate
Rudy's job is less because it's better players. It doesn't mean that he plays less defense.
So we asked the chat.
This is my face right now. Well, what are we talking about? Whew. This guy, I swear, man, he cannot help but to have the wrong not you. He cannot help but to have the wrong take on everything. I mean, the wrong take on everything. I mean, they need to have some discussions outside of basketball, and I swear, I promise you, his take is probably going to be awful. Like, what do you like to have on your pizza? It's going to be awful. Anchovies. It's going to be awful. He's going to always have the wrong take no matter what. Good God. Who won the rap beef? Drake or Kendrick? He's going to say Drake. Like, I don't know. I don't know if this guy is just a contrarian or what. It's very annoying. He does this all the time. He does it with Popovich. He's terrible. His takes are god awful. It's terrible. However, I do like his shirt. I don't know what's going on in his shirt, but I do like it. I like it. Anyways, that was terrible. That was frustrating. I have a headache now. But if you guys want to support the channel, many different ways to do that. Big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Let's go and get out of here, man. I'm hurt.
BetUS, America's favorite sportsbook and casino. Live betting and racebook. We're celebrating 30 years with a historic offer. A 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Plus 10% gambler's insurance. Get started today. BetUS, where the game begins.